I think she just came into the studio. Then she went and sit inside one of the shelves.
At first, you kind of think of it as like maybe they're in a bad mood, but then you figure out that as time goes, that's just how they are.
I spoke to this one girl and she completely acted like she didn't care. Like she was completely not interested in that kind of thing.
She's like, peasant, please.
I'm telling you, it was that bad. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Story of Things. My name is Kao and I'm your host, and today I'm with
Fiqah
And Kit.
Right, and today we're going to be talking about first impressions. Yes.
Yeah, so you guys, like, everyone has first impressions, right? You
Yes.
guys have first impressions of me,
I
right?
don't remember honestly.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember.
It's probably not that memorable, that's why.
No lah.
Go
Don't shame her like that. But yeah. I'm pretty sure I had a first impression of you.
Oh my god! My first... Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I also
Go
don't
on.
really remember your first impression, so... But I remember Kaho's though.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, legit.
What is my first impression? What was your first impression of me?
My first impression was... You're good looking. No lie. No cap. Legit.
It's the best compliment anyone has ever given
Not
me.
bad, not
You
bad.
deserve it, don't worry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry though, but my first impression of you was I was confused. Because I didn't know what you
is
were.
it? Yeah.
I didn't know what
Fair,
you were.
fair. That's
see?
usually people's
like
first
her
impression.
religion, like whether she was
Like
Chinese.
my race and
yeah,
shit.
her
Yeah.
race. Yeah, I couldn't tell if she was Chinese
That's
or
a pretty common.
yeah.
My first impression of Pika, I remember already. I think when she first came in, it was music and dance club. Then she danced for the first time. Don asked her to dance.
Ah,
She danced for the first time with the lights off. We were like, oh, not bad. She knows how to dance a bit.
with the lights off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They put lights off, then they put torchlight on
Yeah.
the phone, you know.
it was like full
Ah.
party
Yeah.
style. I don't even know.
They say it's
Okay.
M&D culture, but I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
Go on. Okay.
Yeah.
I think your first impression was more like your second, because the first time I met you, I didn't really met you. It's more like just like, oh, here's Winkit, here's Domo, here's all, and I'm just like, okay, cool, and then we left. But second was when you talked to me with Wallace for that lunch or whatever to join the thingy, and I was just like, okay, he seems how do you say, like, you just seem like you really want to bring me in while also lying on exactly why I'm being brought in.
How did you? What do
Interesting.
you mean?
I
Like,
don't
bring you
remember
into
that.
M&D?
Mind
recruit
you, they were
Ah.
recruiting, but they just said like you'll be joining as like a assistant committee or something, and I was like,
I remember
okay,
that.
yeah, cool, no problem, I'm fine with it. Like, and I was like, I was okay. Malaysia was also in there. Get to the meeting time. My name was on the secretary, and I'm like, what? He didn't even tell me.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so I felt cheated. And then I found out he changed into president, and I'm like, So,
you guna batu
Yeah.
loncatan.
yeah.
Batu loncatan. It's okay lah, dude, don't worry. My first
Then-
impression of you was, I remember I saw you in one of the classes we had together in uni, and I think you were carrying a guitar. That was the first time I actually noticed you.
Because I was carrying a guitar.
Because you was carrying a
that
guitar.
was the reason, not because of me. Go on.
Dude, we had like 80 students in our class, man. And
So the one had to carry the guitar to get your...
yeah, dude, I was like, like 80 people in the class. I don't look at every single one of them, and then suddenly this one dude carries a guitar, and I'm like, oh, look, he carries a guitar, right? Then I came to you and I spoke to you, and you spoke English back to me with a non-accent, and I was like, oh my god, yes, someone I can
So we can finally communicate with.
yeah, I was glad to see someone I could converse with. But when I met you, you were sitting down, so I couldn't really like look at you, you know. And then when I saw you stood up, then it just occurred to me how skinny you were. Yeah, that's really my first impression of you. But yeah, man. But you know,
Sounds good enough.
both of you guys
I
have
love
made
that.
friends to keep
Aww.
after uni.
Do we
Very
have
good, guys.
more further interesting questions?
Yeah.
Oh, we
Pick
gonna
a
draw
lucky
lots.
one, guys. I'm hoping for the interesting questions.
Age before
Okay.
beauty.
Yeah. Let's start with Winkit. Go.
Okay, tell you what. Don't open that.
Okay.
I'll pick one. Do you want me to go first?
You go.
Okay, I'll go first. Alright. What are your first impression life hacks?
Go on.
What do you mean by life hacks though? Like to get someone to like you? or like just to seem
more
someone.
like what are the things that you do to seem more? It depends. Like when you meet someone new, what do you want them to think of you? Like,
Oh,
their
okay.
first impressions of you, and what do you do to
Let's put it-
solidify
Let's
that
put it
first
both ways.
impression?
One first impression for a friend, one first impression for someone you want to impress.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much the same things
Okay,
actually.
go
Like, I'm a pretty boring guy. I'm so sorry, but like, I don't know. I mean, my first impression life hacks have always been just to pardon.
Go on. First impression life hacks.
My first impression life hacks has always just to I think maintaining a good level of eye contact, but not like too severe. Like not like
Okay.
like but a good amount of eye contact is good. Speaking at a good volume. You don't want to be shy. Like, hello, my name is. You don't want to be mumbling.
Yeah.
So good body posture. Act like you give a shit.
Immediately moving
like-
on posture.
Yeah, can you imagine if you meet someone?
No,
and-
I
and-
think Kaho's first impression. I think I've seen a few times that when he meets new people around me lah,
Yeah.
he'll keep a very good posture. Then he'll
Yeah.
be very friendly. He'll make the first move to say hi. How you
Yeah.
doing? So what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm Kaho. It's a very confident move to put out there.
Yeah. I mean, assuming if they can speak English, like that's normally what I do. I tend to initiate because if I don't initiate and they initiate, that's great. Like that's really fine. But you don't want to be in a situation where you don't initiate and they don't initiate, and then both of you are just, that's awkward as hell.
True.
So yeah, I mean that's simple. I pretty much do that for both potential friends and people that I'm attracted to.
I think what's different is what you would do after that if it's someone that you like. But basically, how you start it off, how you kick off the conversations, I think it's pretty much the same.
yeah.
Right?
Starting is easy.
Oh, he's pretty consistent in that. Yeah.
Starting is easy. It's just finishing the
Continue.
job that's the drag.
I think I'm pretty different on that point. It's not always the same because I will try to make different first impressions on different people. If it's a friend,
He has a
if
category.
it's someone senior, or if someone that I'm gonna chase, it's gonna be all different hacks.
Tell us
If
what
it's a
is
normal
it?
friend, then probably I might come off as Kaho also.
Yeah.
Friendly, confident, first move, initiative, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
try
yeah.
to strike a normal conversation. But if it's someone that if it's a potential partner or someone that I have interest with, okay, I will normally try to. I will make a move into. I'll try to grab their attention first thing, by either I show up in front of them and randomly strike a conversation, or I appear in front of them a few times but I don't strike a conversation, but I know I've grabbed their attention, and then randomly after everything ends, only I move forward and try to start a conversation.
Well, that's some level of confidence. That's some level of confidence you have there, man. To show up and not say anything, but
Yeah.
know for a fact that you grabbed their attention, dude. That's some level of
You just have
confidence.
to
have
know
that-
that you grab their attention, because it's not always you cannot always be pushing forward for a conversation. Then you have to test the
The waters.
yes, you have to see whether the girl is actually attracted to you or not by first impressions. If not, then you know, I have to put more effort. This one is not noticing me. This one is a bit out of my leg, It's like I walk in front of her so many times, or I go try to talk to people beside her so many times, but she's not noticing. This one is special. This one requires special effort. Then you have to turn around, right? First impressions are different.
Right.
If you apply the same one to everyone, then you get the same result.
Are you gonna be choosing a question?
Maybe.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's my question. Time for yours.
Yeah, wink it.
Nervously
God, I
drinks
hope it's a good
water.
one.
I think I got the one which the answer I just prepared. What was your worst first impression of someone? What was your worst first impression of someone? Okay.
Spill the
So to
tea.
sum it up, I don't think I have a worst first impression of someone, but there's a story that my close friends around me has been telling me again and again and again about one of my ex. Okay? So what happened was that okay, let's say at that time I have a two close friends. So first, my first close friend already met her before
Alright.
at a different location. So he already knew that she was quite shy, introverted, not friendly, and not friendly. Okay, so moving on to the next point.
Double did not
So
friend.
the second close friend came to see this girl. I mean, came around to see me lah. So happened that the girl was there.
Okay.
Okay, so it was in some kind of dancing space. That means there's a room. There's a space.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then there happens to be cupboards beside cupboards like those laboratory cupboards that
Okay.
got
Okay.
shelf on top there,
Okay.
then got cupboards, then got spaces. Okay, so
Yeah.
at that point, I wasn't at that place. So my two best friends came into that space, and then got few people there wandering there lah. And then my ex happened to be wearing her earphones as usual, hoodie, and then I think she just came into the studio, then she went and sit inside one of the shelf.
Oh.
Like my friend said hi because my first best friend met her before, but the second one didn't.
Yeah.
So I think both said hi,
Okay.
and then she just nodded or something. Then she walked right into the shelf and sit inside, because it can fit right. One person can fit right into the shelf.
I had
So
no idea. I had no idea.
talking about worst first impression, I wouldn't say that's the worst. It's probably just extremely odd.
It's just one.
Okay.
It's like it's not a good impression to see of your girlfriend for the first time
Hi.
among my best friends. So
Just a nod.
No,
I have
so-
nothing against that. She's a good person. Okay, she's just
just a
shy,
bit
introverted, and odd, a bit eccentric would be a better word. I
Sure.
guess. Okay, so
Know
yes,
that.
that's our worst first impression. Do I have others? Another one is probably there was one time. Okay, we all studied in the same college,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is a
So you
pretty
can
Chinese
represent
college. Everyone's
Yeah.
speaking Chinese. I think this is a story that every time I met a new friend, right, most of them Chinese because it's I think 70% Chinese, 60% okay, if I'm not exaggerating. So whenever I meet someone new, because I'm Chinese, I look super Chinese. There's no way I could have been Chinese. So at the moment I meet that person, normally I'll speak first. I was like, "Hi, my name is Kit. What's your name?" Then that person, most of the time they'll look surprised first. Then they'll be like, because they are looking for words because they don't speak English. They'll be like, "Oh, I am." So this person said, "I'm Domo." This person said, "Oh, I'm Domo. So what do you study here?" Then he said something like accounting. Then I said, "Oh, diploma in accounting." Then me also. Then as the conversation goes on for 5 minutes, just 5, exactly 5, no more, no less. Then he said, "Actually, you know how to speak Chinese, ah?" Then I'm like, "Oh, can ah." 哦，你会讲华语的是不是？来，我们是讲华语。That means the moment I said yes, you know I speak Chinese, from that day onwards, there's no more English from me. It's all Chinese. Then I was like, 我会讲华语，我会。So from that onwards, it's all Chinese, all Mandarin,
Sorry, dude, you got me. I'm a Chinese, we can't speak Chinese to shit.
right?
Saved
Yeah.
my life. Alright.
Yeah,
I
sounds like
think
Domo.
that's the two worst first impressions.
I see you,
They are
Domo.
not that bad. Like, it's just that it's
Impressionable.
just eccentric and a bit weird.
Yeah.
This is the one that you remember.
Yeah.
So what's yours? Pick yours.
Pick, okay. God. Okay, let's go with this one. What impressions differentiate between a good and a bad first
A
impression?
nod. A nod.
Yeah.
Okay. What differentiates between a bad and good first impression?
What differentiate? Overall, just their attitude, I guess. Like a good one, like you say, like I would say, like Kahos and yours one would be considered good impressions.
Yeah, boy.
But it's just that, because usually with first impression, the first thing I try to find is how comfortable they are with talking,
Yeah.
like introverted or extroverted. You can see it by the way how they reply or how they expect you to talk to them or whatever, and that's usually how I see it. Like I guess it's not completely good, but it's still good enough for me to remember them. And I'm usually good at remembering face, just not names, but just face. But bad impressions, to me, are those that are, you know, those kind of people. It's just like they're just in a bad mood, and at first you kind of think of it as like maybe they're in a bad mood, but then you figure out that as time goes, that's just how they are. Or like the way they speak, the way they reply to you, the tone that they use, the words that they use. I usually just judge based on how they reply. If I come up to them first, then that's how I judge. If they come up to me first, it's the same thing. I still see how they reply, they talk and everything. So yeah, that's just how I figure out which one is a good and a bad one. How about yours?
Well, if you want to differentiate, then I mean, yeah, you know, I think if you want to differentiate a good impression and a bad first impression is just to see how they react. You know, it's really fine if you're interacting with an introvert for the first time. If that's who they are, I don't really count that as a bad first impression either. If that's who they are, then that's really okay. You know, as long as you don't come off like rude, snobbish. You know, like there was this one girl who a relative of mine dated, right? And you know, so it's a rather close relative, I would say, and I think it was only a matter of time until I had to meet this girl, you know. So I met this girl for the first time, and she looked like she was okay, you know. And then I spoke to her, and instantly I had a negative vibe from her, like, you know, like, I mean, think about it. It's a vibe bad enough for me to know that.
How did she give off that vibe?
She
What did she do or what did she not do?
She was
Yeah.
very non-responsive, and not in an introverted way. She was non-responsive in a way that I'm not really interested in talking
to you.
Yeah, and we were with family, mind you. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, okay, fine, you tagged along. You tagged along
But
with
didn't
my
want to talk.
relative for a family event, you know, and I'm close to this relative, so obviously you know, like, it's an unspoken thing that we
Like,
have
you
to
end
get
up
to know.
talking, yeah.
Yeah, we have to get to know one another, you know. So you know, I just tried to be friendly, and I spoke to this one girl, and she completely acted like she didn't care, like she was completely not interested, that kind of thing.
She's like, peasant, please.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was that bad. The vibe was like that, you know. It was coming off like, I'm better than you. I don't want to interact with you. You do not interest me. Part of me feels like she thinks I was trying to come onto her. I don't know why, right? But I really wasn't. And for a while, for a short while, I'd say, I thought maybe it was me. You know, I thought maybe it's in my head. You know, maybe I'm overthinking things. Maybe it's not the way it seems to be. And then I met my other friends who were mutual friends with my relative, and they all told me, dude, like, don't overthink about it. We had the exact same vibe. None of us like her. So I'm like, okay. So that's one of the bad impressions that I can remember. Not to say that I'm butthurt about it. I really don't care, you know. But I mean, as far as bad impressions go, that was.
But I think if that person really acted that way, I think she really didn't care about how the family thinks about her already, like,
Yeah.
to that point.
Yeah,
Unless she's really that oblivious, but I don't think she is.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel that, like, it's very simple. Like, meeting people for the first time, like, doesn't matter if you're trying to impress family or trying to get people to like you. Like, isn't it like an unspoken thing for everybody? When you meet someone new, you just try and be nice. You don't have to be super, super, super nice, but you're meeting someone for the first time. Well, just be polite. Shit, I'm not asking you to, like, clean their shoes or shit like that the first time you meet them, you know. But if someone's, like, talking to you for the first time, and isn't it a normal thing that you want to reciprocate kindness with kindness? You know, I'm not asking you to go the extra mile. You know, you don't have to go get them, like, a cup of tea or some shit like that, you know. But, like,
Just to be responsive.
yeah, you
and
know,
be polite.
shit. Even if you were an introvert, I think even introverts have their own way of being polite when they
Yeah.
meet someone for the first time, regardless if they're meeting your friend's family or a partner's family or just people in general. Even if they're introverts, they don't say much, but they know how to be nice.
I think the best way to give a good first impression, if you're introverted, and you didn't know how to talk is to just smile.
Yeah, even
Exactly.
a
To be honest,
smile.
it's like, how's your day? Good.
Yeah, like a smile goes a
I
long
think that person
way.
will straight away get the signal that, oh, this guy is pretty introverted.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
tried.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah,
tried.
you know,
But still went
and
on.
A for effort. Good job. So yeah, that's about it.
I think if it's for me to differentiate between a good and first bad impression, it would be like, okay, I think to be more specific, if it's just random meeting friends outside for the first time, perhaps it's quite random. I wouldn't consider it first impression most of the time. If you want to really take into consideration for first impression, like you're going for a blind date, you're going for a date for the first time, you are really going to be intentionally giving some first impressions. I think to really properly give a first impression throughout the whole date is to know how to respond throughout the whole conversation.
Yes, that's a totally new.
To know how to respond,
Game.
to be good in that way, I think it takes a lot of skills though, at times.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
Definitely.
To be natural, to
Yeah.
responsive is one thing, but to really know how to carry on a conversation is another thing.
yeah. I mean, I think I think that's two different things. You know, like I think giving good, memorable first impressions with people you meet in general versus someone you're attracted to. I think it's a completely different game. You know, because then
True,
your
true.
emotions are involved and your emotions are gonna get the better of you. You're gonna be nervous. You're gonna freaking like, you know, your heart's gonna be beating 1,000 miles an hour. You're gonna start sweating, you know, and you're gonna be stuttering. So that's a completely different game.
How will you carry that though? If it's first impression to someone you're attracted to.
It's the same way I carry first impression.
You don't seem to have another different hack.
I really
No,
don't. I really
Go back to
don't.
the same formula.
Yeah,
Confident,
you know,
talk
But like I said, consistent. He's just consistent.
very consistent. Huh?
yeah. Like I just do that with people. Everyone I meet in
I
general.
always have different kind of topic to go on with that.
Yeah.
First impressions.
That being said, I have no idea how to leave a good first impression on a potential person I'm attracted to who is either shy or an introvert. Because I have no idea how to carry that conversation. I talk, and the more I talk, the more they'll feel uncomfortable. So I really don't know how to carry that kind of conversation, you know. So back in the day, when I used to meet someone that I was potentially attracted to, I would, you know, like talk with them, and if they talked back, great. You know, like we can vibe. But if for some reason they're introverted or shy, then it becomes awkward for me because I don't know how to interact with people like that. You know, I get worried. The more I talk, the more they'll feel uncomfortable, and I don't know what to do.
I think I can just give a quick 2 tips before we end this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like how to talk with introverted people, because I do deem
Have
myself used to be
experience.
introverted, then I became more extroverted. So just to be short lah, I think
Yeah.
there's just 2 things. One is to, like Kao say, first you match the eye contact. The eye contact got to be more consistent, not to just stare at her lah, but it's to constantly making eye contact. Another thing I think not a lot of people might notice is to maintain the pace of your talking. To maintain the pace when you're
Oh
talking
yeah,
with
that's
them.
probably good.
You notice that everyone has different pace of talking. Some people talk very fast when they are excited, or even their normal speed lah. Some people
Yeah.
talk pretty fast. It's like for Kaho, right? It's like how are you doing? Also you're doing this one, so you're doing this one. His speed is like this. To properly connect with someone, right? I think you gotta match their speed properly.
Yeah.
Then they'll feel like they are in sync with you.
Uh,
If not, it's like how you're doing, then the person responds like, I'm good. How is yours? To talk back with that person, right? The moment he responds like that, you have to go back to the same speed. Then he'll feel like he'll be more willing to connect more.
I'm doing good too.
If you notice that, you try with some people, especially with some people who are speaking very fast, right? If you don't match their speed, right?
You're done.
Yeah.
Alright, that's interesting. That's actually a good tip. I'm actually going to try that the next time. Alright, so I think that's all we have time for. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in again for another episode of Story of Things. My name is Kao. Good night.